tumbling Mitchell Marsh. Oh, Pat Cummins indeed. Very wholehearted cricketer and a very good one. Well, Marnus Labuschagne back in the country of his birth after an amazing year in international cricket. Talking to Brian Murgatroyd, the media manager with the Australians, and the status quo around the world for naming him now does seem to be Labuschagne, not Labuschagne. He says apparently he's completely comfortable with either. He doesn't mind what anybody calls him. I guess a run of noughts might change that. Incredible consistency with his batting since he got into the side, and averaging 63 in Test match cricket. How about that? 50 in ODI cricket.
Yeah, small sample size in the ODI format, but I mean, a one-day series in India is not an easy thing to negotiate at the start of your career. So he's done well there as well.
Beautiful. Oh, what timing that is. Just a delicate little push into the space. Great stuff.
Yeah, a couple of deliveries ago we saw a back of a length delivery from Stark which carried through to the keeper. We haven't seen many of those. What we have seen him do is search for the fuller length delivery. He wants to get that ball to move through the air. He wants to get some movement and see if he can create some problems. Third example from Temba Bavuma today of a lovely cover drive. Over pitched again. Just opens the face.
Mystery of swing, sure, not more than one or two balls have swung and one got a wicket.
But it also goes down to a technical issue that Stark has had, and I've noticed he's made some changes to his action, but the first few deliveries the seam was angled perfectly, and they've shown the spin vision, which is our up close and personal version of the ball. For the last 3 or 4 deliveries it actually looks like it's been angled towards the slip, so when he warms up and you get yourself into good rhythm, and then all of a sudden after 2 or 3 overs, I mean, he's even going cross-seam this next delivery, which tends to suggest he's almost given up on getting the ball to shape back into the right-hander.
Bavuma slaps his thigh as if to say, you missed out there, boy. Hard on himself. 5 gone, 30 for 1.
Everything your trip needs for everyone you love. Expedia, ATOL protected.
More people come to USwitch to find their broadband, energy and mobile deal than any other switching site.
The Simba Hybrid mattress survives the most rigorous testing, and with up to 25% off at Simba, it's great news for grown-ups.
We start Paarl today. It'd be interesting to see how people around South Africa back the one-day game as against the T20 game. Smaller ground, so easy to fill, but a different format, and at the moment T20 is very much the vibe. Right, Josh Hazelwood rather is out of the attack, and Pat Cummins is into the attack. Still a single slip in place, 4 in the cover ring.
Strategy from the Australian unit is Hazelwood and Stark would tend to get the new ball because they bowl just a slightly fuller length. Cummins is very much a man who runs up and hits just back of a length consistently very well, but if there's going to be any movement through the air, it's invariably Hazelwood and Stark who will extract that. And then if things aren't going according to plan, they turn to their man who's ultra consistent. 98 one-day wicket, so he'll be hoping in this match. Should definitely be on the tour, but he'll be hoping in this match to get over the 100.
Steve Smith in that key position behind the square. John D. Rhodes made it famous for South Africa, then Mark Waugh for the Australians. Paul Collingwood did it very well for England. You have to be, well, you have to have a sharp eye, but you have to be a great anticipator and a very athletic, comfortable mover. It's a great thing to watch the best field in that position. Smith was out this morning fiddling around with his bowling. He rolled a few leg spinners, but was working on different off breaks. Said he's planning another career. He said he'd do quite enough damage as it is. Oh, there's a little noise. That's what Cummins interested in. No truly enthusiastic support, sort of half-hearted appeal from Alex Carey behind the stumps, and the signal for one for the over too.
Yeah, sometimes you believe this is out, sometimes you just want to make sure that it isn't adjudged as a wide. So if that was the second option, it worked out pretty well. It looks like it was sliding down the leg side, but no glove involved.
Ultra edge of that opinion too, Sean. Certainly no movement off the seam, as we know that one ball swung, because it did for Milan LBW, first ball of the game, suffering the same fate as Herschel Gibbs has done twice, and Hashim Amla twice as well, actually. Hashim's 2 dismissals against the Australians. Six gone now, it's 33 for no wicket. Much experience, David Miller's got plenty, but it's a new group of faces for South Africa. I mentioned earlier, the last time the sides played was at Old Trafford, at Manchester in the World Cup, and there were 8 changes from that team, not least one of the guys who's with us in the commentary box today, JP Duminy. Look forward to hearing from him in a while. Here's Hazelwood, change of ends, replaces Stark. That turnover of South African players is partly selectors' thinking, partly injury, and partly rest.
Yeah, don't get
what
me
do you reckon
started.
on rest?
Don't get me started. Batsmen resting. They've got about 6 months coming up, haven't they, where they're going to be doing nothing?
It does. It beggars belief, doesn't it?
Bowlers I have no issue with. If they need a rest and whatever. The batsmen resting.
Yes, little edge, yep. Quinton didn't like it at all. You see his whole body sag. Oh, that's such a big thing for the Australians. They don't quite get Quinton get the game, but they sure head that way.
Yeah, it's back to that Hazelwood length that we've come to see for so many years. He started off going full at the start of his spell from the other end. But now that he's changed ends, he's gone back to that back of a length. And Quinton just trying to run it down to third man. The perfect start for Australia, the second wicket down. The Boland changes are working as well. And Quinton has to go for 15 or 16 deliveries. South Africa 33 for 2. And the experienced campaigner on his way.
I've been searching for a long time to find somewhere to be mine. I never thought you'd come.
If only finding the one you really want was as easy as with the new Mercedes-Benz online showroom. Compare every new car in stock today and see the latest offers. Search Mercedes-Benz online showroom today.
Don't miss the film critics are calling the feel-good film of the year.
Every successful choir is just a bad choir that didn't give up.
It's the 5-star film that will have you on your feet, cheering and crying.
Great music happens when you care.
Military Wives. Book tickets now.
It's at Kyle Verena. He'll be nervous. It's a big thing coming. Age 22, play against the Australians. Strong Australian side with such powerful attack. Really got to have your wits about you. One slip in an orthodox sort of wide first slip, then a very fine gully fielder, 3 in the cover ring. So 2 catches around the bat there. Hazelwood. Banged into the pitch. Little test of the new young face. How does he get back? How does he play the ball that bounces more than it might in regular first-class cricket?
You can just imagine what's going through the body at the moment, the nerves, the butterflies, the 14 or 15 different thoughts at the same time. He has to just try and calm all that down and just watch the white kookaburra and try and react accordingly to what he's done. In a similar vein in the domestic formats.
Played, beautifully done. So the ball before was the challenge really to set up the ball afterwards. Would the batsman be able to stay still and transfer back into the ball? That's the end of Quinton de Kock. The answer was yes, he would, and he did. He played it very nicely.
A little bit of movement across Quinton de Kock there. Maybe that's what did for him. That's a big wicket. Hazelwood knows it.
And he's away. Nice moment. Couple for... Oh no, they come back for a third. Really well run. 3 then for Paarl Verena.
You might just think it's just 3, but that is a massive, huge moment for the youngster. He's off the mark. He goes to sit down. The non-striker's in to absorb all the different emotions he's experiencing at this time. He won't face the delivery until the end of the over, so you can go and chat with Timber between overs. All little things that will help him calm down and just relax a little bit to try and focus on the job at hand.
No!
Quite right. Warner alert to the possibility. Hitting it off. 7 gone, 36 for 2.
Lots of massive sport on Supersport this weekend. Nothing bigger than the local derby. Orlando Pirates versus Kaizer Chiefs. We're on air at 2 o'clock, but the game starts at 3:30. And all we're hoping for in this commentary box is a high-scoring affair. There's been a few 0-0 draws in recent times, but let's hope for like a 5-4 or a 4-3. Should be good viewing. Time for a change of voice up here. Mark Hazeman has been joined by Victor Mpitsang.
Thanks, Sean. Chiefs for me. They're the boys to get up, I think, this afternoon. I'm going for 2-0 against the Pirates. $36-2. See off the likes of Stark. Hazelwood's bowled a couple of overs, but Stark's off, and then arguably the pick of the bowlers comes into the attack now. Pat Cummins. Victor, he is seriously special.
He certainly is, and he's been #1 in the world now for some time in test matches, and this is the idea of the Australians. They need to try and strike, utilize this new ball and try and get as many wickets as they can and try and get into that middle order of the South Africans.
Not quite carrying. Just always going to elude Pat Cummins, that one. Bit of extra bounce.
There's pace in this bowling attack. Hazelwood comes into the side from having missed out on the T20 side, and you can understand from this bowling attack that they're trying to get wickets. And in one-day cricket, can cause some damage in the first 10 overs, save so much at the end.
This is not easy for a debutant. In the air again, just tipped away, but Scampus for 1. Bavuma was looking for 2, but 2 wasn't there.
Here, Calvaraini, who comes in and makes his debut for South Africa, and that's just reward from having a wonderful season in the previous year of the Momentum One-Day Cup. This one just a leading edge. Fortunate enough, it's away from the man that's at mid-wicket.
Bavuma again running hard, looking for 2. Slight little fumble, allows them to come back for the second. That's good running.
Yeah, they'll complement each other very well, these two. Run well between them because they're quick. Calvarain also saw when Temba Bavuma got that 98 in at Newlands, how well he ran. Good judgment of singles, making sure that they rotate the strike as often as possible.
Good direct stuff from Cummins that time. Just 3 runs from that over. 39-2. 1 ball to go, actually. Like the way that Bavuma again has been nice and busy upon arriving at the crease. That's something he's certainly brought into his game on a consistent basis this summer. He's been on the sidelines for a couple of weeks too with that hamstring injury, and that hasn't concerned him at all. He's straight back into it. Looking to have a dip at that one. Now that's wide down the leg side and should be called a wide. Yes, it is. Sometimes there's the odd appeal from 1 or 2 to try and distract the umpire. That might be called a wide this time. Yes, it is. Initially signalled by the umpire at square leg.
Good pace though. Cummins. The height as well. He actually saw the previous delivery that Temba Bavuma was trying to hit. He's trying to hit that because he feels that is his strength. But this time it's much quicker. It's just outside his eye line and he's forcing him. If he plays at that, well, that could go straight up in the air. So good bowling this by Cummins.
Long over this one though. That's a good shot, good punch into the covers. Good work from Avuma. Wants to come back for the third and does that comfortably in the end, so that's good work. 8 runs from that over 44 for 2.
I've heard industry's died in this country, hasn't it?
But scratch the surface and you'll see.
Burton-on-Trent is the most famous brewing town in the country.
British beer, British barley, and a lot of work and effort.
The relationship with the town and the brewery is massive.
It's like a really, really big family.
You understand that you're part of something much bigger.
Making it where we're from. Carling.
And if you have DSTV now, you can even view your games of your choice on 2 different screens simultaneously. So what I'll do is I'll get Sean Pollock organised so he can keep an eye on the derby and also keep an eye on the cricket. Good stuff from Hazelwood that time. DSTV now, it's your DSTV online anywhere. Tries to catch it. Good ground cover. Oh, and it's gone. In the fingertips from Stark and dropped out. Now, he did all the hard work. He judged that perfectly, actually. He started backpedaling with his eye on the ball all the time and got himself in a good position. He'll be very upset that he put that down.
He normally has such good hands, Mitchell Stark, and this one, it's slightly fuller though, but Hazel does get a little bit of extra bounce. Temba Bavuma tries to hit him downtown, but he gets the leading edge. Watching the ball, just unfortunate.
He'll be upset with that. There's a bit of a breeze out there, but did all the hard yards with Mitchell Stark. Got a bit of a discussion with you, Vic. I can't quite understand this team selection. I understand that the selectors want to get some of these younger guys involved, and Verena is clearly one, and give him a run. He's been a little bit out of form actually in domestic List A games this summer. Career stats averaging 45 in the Momentum Cup with 100 and a couple of 50s. Strike rate of 89, that's the domestic 50 over game. But I'm a little bit surprised that Faf du Plessis is rested, and also Rassie van der Dussen is rested. Now they're 2 key guys, I think, in the South African lineup. 3 50 over games. Now there's a bottom edge, I think. Or was it just a pocket? If that has been given not out on the pocket, that's a seriously good decision. Definitely heard a noise. And no review.
He'll try and take it on this. Calveren, it's a very good decision that. It really is a very, very good decision. Is everything slightly shorter like Temba? They'll try and take it on short in stature. Good decision.
Brilliant from Nigel Long. And that's a wide as well. Back to my comments about Faf du Plessis and Rassie van der Dussen. I'll be interested to hear what you say. Now Faf has just come back. He was rested. He hasn't played a lot of late. Didn't get any runs in the T20. And the way you find form is obviously to play in the middle, which I think is seriously important. And I would have thought that Faf added in this lineup with these youngsters around the place would be pretty handy. Let's look at his List A career. averaging just over 36. And Rassie van der Dussen, in an interview with me just a couple of days ago, told me he is living the dream. So I cannot, for the life of me, imagine he stuck his hand up and said, "I'll have a rest, guys." 48 for 2.
Look, first of all, a point that I was trying to make about Calvert-Lewin is he probably gets a nod because of him being the second leading run scorer in the previous year's Momentum One Day Cup. Had a good season there, 453 runs, 104 50s, at a decent average. That's why he gets the call up. So does Janneman Malan. So that's the squad at the moment. Janneman Malan, spoke about him, Calvert-Lewin, and Heinrich Klaassen actually scored some runs in the Momentum One Day Cup this season. Played nicely in the T20, so that's probably why he gets the call up.
Bavuma on strike. Chopped it on. Cummins, always in the game, Pat Cummins. He's never away from sniffing a wicket, never too far away.
It's also the extra bit of bounce that he gets. He has the pace, and this time Bavuma tries to rotate the strike, but it's way too close to him. Gets the bottom edge. Look how close that is. He's just trying to run that to third man, but unfortunately for him, got away with one, the drop catch in the previous over. Themba Bavuma, and chops this one on. So South Africa lose another wicket in the first power play, lose their third. So Themba Bavuma is gone for 26. South Africa now 48 for 3.
Right, Heinrich Klaassen now, 28 years of age. Now he missed a couple of games as well due to that hip injury. That was quite bizarre. Happened just before the toss of the Wanderers. Got runs before that. He's got a real job to do here. Suddenly someone like Heinrich Klaassen, who hasn't played that many games, is a bit of a senior player in this lineup right now.
And that's the point that you're trying to make about Faf du Plessis not being part of the squad, is when you're trying to blood in youngsters, you sort of look at the experience that you have. Themba Bavuma just chops one on to his stumps, and it's not a great position for South Africa, losing their third wicket, and he's been in good form. Is that you need somebody to blood the youngsters, and you look at this team and you look at the same team that played against England, so many different faces every single time. So not a settled team at the moment, South Africa.
Australia thought of making only one change today. That's how settled they are with their T20s and their 50 over games. Let's look at the South African one-day squad. I reckon that Rassie van der Dussen is sitting at home with his pads on, saying, "I'll have a bat. Let me get out there and have a bat."
Especially for somebody that makes his international debut so late. I mean, we've seen phrases of him getting a nod, especially at the age that he's at. Plays for South Africa, does so well, and it looks like more settled in this team, and you want him to play.
He's someone to me that just oozes dedication, and Faf du Plessis has been a remarkable player for years and did an outstanding job when he was captain, and he's now stepped down as the captain. But his record in the T20 game and also the 50 over game has been amazing. The last time he played against Australia, he got 100. It was in the World Cup. He's average against Australia alone in the 50-over game is quite extraordinary. Let's not even think about his average in the Test arena against Australia. I can't imagine he was too happy being rested either. I seem to remember a little bit of a similar situation leading into the World Cup, where South Africa was so unsettled. The 50-over World Cup this was. They were so unsettled and I think confused themselves more than anything. And the World Cup was in England because of the chopping and changing in the team, and let's hope that's not going to be the same situation with the World T20 later on this year. There's not that many T20 games to go, by the way. There's what, we've got 6 games, I think, 7 games to go before that happens in Australia. It's a very good over. Wicket first ball, just a couple of runs only, 50 for 3.
The Paarl power play package, that was the first delivery that Janneman Malan gets in international cricket in the ODIs. Charged LBW, and a good partnership, a partnership of 33 runs between Themba Bavuma and Quinton de Kock. Played some nice shots, Themba, and then Quinton first to go, and a missed opportunity. Had long on, mid on, not long on, and then Themba. 3rd wicket to fall. So after the first power play, Australia, good one for them as they picked up the 3 wickets.
Hazelwood again. No! Now Josh Hazelwood made a comment yesterday, actually, at the presser. He was saying that he thinks that his opportunity to play in the World T20 might have gone. That might have bolted, he said. He reckons the other guys have played so well. He made the comment that when he was sitting back and playing a lot of Test cricket for Australia, he'd tune in and watch the Australian T20 side play, and that was years ago, obviously, and he thought, okay, well, that's great, those boys are running around and whatever, and that's a different game to what we're playing at the Test level with the red ball. It's nicely jammed out. He said also, as he watched more and more of it, he realised, well, hang on a sec, I mean, this is seriously good cricket, this is enjoyable stuff, and I've got to try and get in it.
And if you do very well in it, you can earn a lot of money out of it as well, and it's only 4 overs. And one thing that he has, though, and this is where captains or coaches go about, is when you have a strong bowling attack, especially in T20 cricket, that's when you win a lot of games. Start of the innings, end of the innings, and if you have those kind of bowlers, that's when you really win games.
It's got that through. It's nicely played by Verena, and it might go for 4. It has. That's a good shot.
Paarl has that ability. He just hangs back on that back foot, and it's all about timing when he plays. This occasion, it's on the back foot, plays the ball very late and finds the gap. Outfield is wonderful here at Eurolarks Park. Nicely played. Look how late he plays it. Maneuvers it well enough to get the gap and races away.
Final comment about the fact that Faf and Rassie are not playing. Faf's numbers, one-day international numbers against Australia, 1,080 at an average of 54, 500s and 350s. So I'm not saying that Verena shouldn't be playing, I'm just saying I think there should be a better balance. Some senior guys, some guys who have played a long time, try and help these youngsters through and try and guide them a bit. On the park, but also importantly off it. Nice shot, sweeper out there.
Yeah, the benefit of batting with somebody with that experience, and also the other point also about Faf du Plessis, who just played in the recent T20 series against Australia, is what happens now after he takes the break. His reference point, when does he play? Does he play for the Titans, which is his domestic team? So that's what you need him to do as well. Is spoke about the T20 World Cup that comes later on in the year. And even though he has the wonderful numbers, it's just that he needs to get back and get the intensity of the game, or he needs to bat, try and get some runs under his belt.
He's captain of World 11. He's going to be playing soon. Says a bit about his worth as captain. 5 off, 55 for 3. Another guy that we should be talking about that should have come into the reckoning was Hamza. Look at his numbers. You've seen a lot of him, Victor, over the years. Those numbers are really good.
Yeah, outstanding numbers, those. 525 runs. Failed in the last game. And that's what you want, isn't it? He played in the test series against England, lost his form, went back to domestic, made his mark. And those are very good numbers, those. Batting at number 3.
So that's the Momentum One Day Cup, which is the 50 over game in South Africa. Not sure what else he's expected to do, actually, to get a run. Tries to catch it. Get left out of the side, you're dead right. Make some runs, make some runs. Got to get back into that side, get back into the reckoning. Well, that's what he did. Hang on, selectors, here I am. Maybe you should borrow Tabray's Hamzi's shoe phone and phone the selectors.
Go. Oh, get up, man.
Now we know that we've had this horrible situation with this fire that is around the place at the moment. I've just got a little bit of news that has come through that they've got the fires under control. Now, of course, we feel for everybody who have been affected by these fires. They're horrific. It's a big fire, some 6,000 hectares, that's what we're hearing. And it started in the Donker Kloof area. And the pass area as well. It was out of control for a long time with the fires, the firefighters and the helicopters and all those involved have done an outstanding job. Continued throughout the night. The efforts throughout the night were hampered by strong winds, and that's when it's at its most dangerous. And these guys are very brave, these firefighters. Of course, we heard Aaron Finch make the comment about the fires in Australia, that the horrific situation that they've encountered of late. So this fire, the good news about this one right now is it is under control, we understand, and let's hope that we're all going to be fine. There's been no injuries, and there's no structures have been damaged at this stage. Some vines, I'm sure. Some wineries would have been badly hurt. So well done to everyone that's on it and working on getting the fires under control. There's one of the cameramen. Been wearing the masks because of the smoke that's been around. Smiley up in the tower. Now where's Smiley? She's the one that should have the masks on. Where's Simpiwi? She must be up there having a good view of the fires. No! And all the work that everyone's doing. That's a really good over. Just one from that. 56 for 3.
1, 2, 3. Let's do this. Hello.
Get up, we're going again.
If we're going to go through with this, I want to go all out.
Stick with me, and everything will be okay.
Maybe now they'll take us seriously.
What's the problem?
I can't get these to stick down.
Well, can't you just take it off? It's a wig, right? Oh, yeah.
What?
think all 50 over games these days, you automatically think that 250, 260 mark is where you've got to be. And then if the pitch is good, which this is, you'll be adjusting that up to the 280 mark pretty smartly. And then if someone bats really well and gets in a couple of good overs, suddenly you're waving towards that 300 mark.
It just becomes standard, isn't it, Hazy? The fact that the one-day game has changed so much that if you don't get to 300, you feel like you're losing the game and you need your bowlers to really back it up. But at the moment, after losing 3 wickets here, the South African side, they need a big partnership. A partnership between these two to try and get them close to that 270, 280 mark.
Track is very good. The Australians have been exceptional so far. They really were brilliant in that T20 International Series, the KFC Series. This is the first of 3 momentum 50 overs games. We go from here to Bloemfontein and then finish off in Potchefstroom. They'll fancy that Mitchell Stark is one of those bowlers that maybe you can get after a little bit, who doesn't like to not get too many runs. Heinrich Klaassen stands still, 1 off 10 at this stage, which is uncharacteristic for him. Certainly not going to have the accuracy of the Stark, the Hazelwood and the Cummins calibre players. There'll be something around the place that they will like from Marsh, and he's a fine performer, all-rounder. Think it's going to turn, Vic?
Just saw in that first couple of deliveries that Calverain faced, it just looked like it was holding up on the surface. I think it generally does turn here in Paarl. I think we might see some turn as a reverse spinner in Zampa.
That's only 4 off his first over, 13 gone, 60 for 3. To remind you about the ICC Women's T20 World Cup, which is underway. South Africa were absolutely magnificent in their first game against England. Won their second against Thailand. And they got a third coming up against Pakistan. Very early tomorrow morning. I know Pommy and Bunga was going to be up at 5:30, ready to watch that one. South Africa versus Pakistan. And so was JP Duminy. And they've just snuck into the commentary box.
Shorty, come on, Shorty. Start. Oh, good start.
Some slow left arm from Darcy Short. Look at his list A numbers. Three wickets lost early by South Africa, having chosen to bat first here, and it's got them in trouble really. Long time to bat, and Themba Bavuma was going quite nicely. Just outside, I think. And so does Adrian Allstock. Thinking about it. Keeper and bowler having a bit of a chat. They'll have to try and convince the captain. Aaron Finch is walking in and he's decided we're going to check it. Going upstairs. First impressions, JP?
Yeah, it's always an interesting one when you're seeing a sweep shot being played. And you always like to fancy your chances when you see a batter playing the cross-bat shots. So, foot looks good. My call is outside line there, Paarl.
Took a while. Clearly your first impression. Now we'll check to see if he got a scratch on it. That's the bat hitting the ground. No contact with the ball, and yeah, then it hits his front pad. Oh, just in line. Just in line. But nothing else going for it. Good decision. Umpire Adrian Allstock sticks with it. Review gone.
Saw the shake of a head there by Aaron Finch, not happy with the Boland keeper's decision there. Probably seeing how much it missed in the end. As I said, it's always the sweep shot that confuses you as a captain.
Oh, nice. Get.
Yeah, what keeper and bowler think first of all is, does a pitch in line, because that's the first thing they want. And whilst it all looks pretty good after the sweep, they don't really have a view. Certainly the keeper doesn't, and he's just searching for where it's pitched. And he thinks, I reckon that's pitched on leg stump. Hasn't accounted for the turn. 5 off the over. It's 65 for 3. First one-day international, you turn up and you're asked to face Mitchell Starc. Oh, poor Yadaman Malan. We went upstairs, and once they knew there was a scratch on that, off the toe, he was gone. Then Quinton de Kock, removed by Hazelwood, and Temba Bavuma by Cummins. The Australians well on top. It's just a really nice position to be in if you're the fielding side. Get 3 top order wickets out, and then you pretty much control the game. Into that middle order pretty much straight away. And to have a job on if you're the batting side. For the bowlers though, you can just operate exactly how you want, and how you want is to be attacking. Skipper providing those fields too. Here's Zampa, slip in place. JP, 4, 5, 6, 7, all positions you've batted. Situation like this that you've seen before, no doubt, and have had to rescue. What goes through the mind?
Well, first things first, you mentioned Australia being on top, and I think the benefit from a South African point of view is that they got time on their hands. ODI cricket here, 50 overs, lost 3 wickets early. So that's the benefit. You kind of got to find a balance between trying to be aggressive and building a partnership. I think you got to identify where you're scoring, your boundary options are, particularly against spin. I think this is a pitch where you're probably going to get a little bit of turn.
Well done.
Particularly in the latter half of this innings. So adjusting your game plans according to that. A guy like Henrik Klaasen enjoys a slog sweep.
Nice, mate.
So the questions that he will ask himself, when is the right time to take that sort of low risk and high risk opportunities? You got to back your options for sure.
Well, Bob.
Yep, what South Africa's changing will want is for Klaasen and Verena to just bat. That time, a long time. Nice opportunity for Verena. He's got himself some sort of a start with 16 on the board. He's a keeper, so you expect that he'll be able to pick the leggies and the wrong ones, as he's done there. It's 69 for 3 after 15. And time for a drink as well.
You're not turning that much, you're sliding on.
Time isn't a commodity. It's precious. No schedules or slots, meetings or school bells. Slow down. Breathe it in. Make every second together count. This is your time. Use it well. Sykes Holiday Cottages.
I think my nephews would be quite horrified to turn up at a beach
that ability to just get through a few overs here.
Come on, Aki. Oh, that's nice.
No feet there at all, just all hands to get one. 72 for 3. We are never really getting going, South Africa. Run rate now 4.5. But the issue is the wickets.
Oh, lovely. Great length.
19 of 29, Paarl Verena. A young man with a good opportunity here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, missed out there on a full toss. Yeah.
Come on, George.
Good runs in the domestic circuit. His coach certainly had been shouting for some time that he deserves a goal, an opportunity. He's got one here. What is shown domestically is a good temperament. To go with those runs that he's got, and he's got a lot.
Come on, Zed. Very good, Zoba.
2018, 2019. Paarl Verena, 453 runs at 64.71.
Well, lad. Come on, Barry.
And that's why his coach, Astral Prince, would have been shouting, saying he deserves a goal.
No!
Certainly been in the minds of the selectors, hence his opportunity here. Can he dig South Africa out of trouble? 73 for 3. Yeah, there's that season I was talking about is one of Markram, who forced his way. There were question marks about Markram. Where does he fit? Top of the order, middle of the order, where will he bat? And this was before the World Cup side was chosen. And he went and absolutely smashed runs. 5 matches for those 542. And Verena with runs as well.
Go on, mate. Go, shorty.
It's so often the difference between the codes spoken about, and sometimes we certainly think, sitting from up here, that there's an adjustment that's not easy to make for some. That's nicely played. Short and cut away. Oh, that's going to be checked. Did he let the ball go in time?
Yeah, nice shots here from Heinie Claassen. Generally with those kind of deliveries, the extra cover generally tries to cut the one run off. Finds the extra cover gap. Seems to have done a good enough job there, the captain, Aaron Finch.
Good coach.
So, just the 3 runs then for Heinie Claassen.
Shot again. This time from Verena. It's a couple. Yeah, JP, I'm talking about the adjustment, and you watch how players start up in one-day games after they've played 20 over games, and you get an impression sometimes that patience is somewhat lost. Shot. Line not right. A teaser for Marsh. Gets there to pull it back.
Yeah, nice little fine tickle here by Calvarena. Straying in line is Darcy Short.
Good boys.
Good bit of fielding by Mitchell Marsh. These are the moments where, from a South African point of view, they need to identify. Feel that Darcy Short are going to give you a few deliveries that you can solve. The key is to try and maximize those opportunities. Just having a look at this one. Looks okay from that view.
Good bosses.
Looks just in time. Not quite got the all clear. Still checking, still chatting. Richard Lillingworth. It's inside, TV umpire.
Oh, that's spinning.
Darcy's generally been a touch short this over.
One of your better ones there, Tom.
Put away. The third one gets the full treatment. And it's a big over. 13 off. It's 86 for 3.
Well, he spoke about the odd one being a touch short. Henry Klaasen pouncing on that one. Definitely a welcome boundary for the South Africans. And as you mentioned, really big over. Welcome over, 13 runs from it. So partnership going along nicely here for South Africa. Klaasen Verreynne, 38 of 53 balls. Restoring this South African innings. Lost their third wicket at just 48 runs. So they're ticking along nicely. Mitchell Starc back into the attack.
No!
Shows you also how Aaron Finch is the luxury here, with things having gone along so quickly. 3 wickets very quickly, and so able to whip Starc out of the attack early. Done a job. Hazelwood into the attack. He got a wicket as well, as did Cummins, and he was quickly to his spinners because he's in the middle order, and it'll also be because of the way South Africa has played the spin in recent times. So now brings his fast man back. Fledgling partnership here, wants to make sure he breaks it. Say again, for South Africa, just bat long partnership, a huge one. They need it if they're going to put up a decent score here. And with the way that the pitch is played, you wouldn't be too far from thinking sort of around 270, 280, certainly at the start of the game. Beautifully played. Oh, fielded in the deep too. I think he picked the slower one and was ready. Verreynne.
Yeah, square of the wicket definitely be Carl Verreynne's strength. Picking up the slow ball quite early there, as you mentioned. Little shot. Not much foot movement. Good eye on the ball. Equally good fielding on the square leg boundary.
Oh, aerial for some time. You just chip it up. It gives the impression it just holds in the pitch. That's just lifted it.
Yeah, the groundsman spoke about possibly the first innings, or the pitch rather, being a touch slow. See Mitchell Stark definitely identifying that and see him running his fingers across the ball. It's the second one in the over already. Possibly see cover and mid-wicket come in possibly to a catching position now. Now, these are the times where technique is definitely going to be tested as a batter. He's got a full array of skills, does Mitchell Stark. And that's the end of the 19th. 90 for 3.
I was going to shut down my family bookstore, but the Indian rhinoceros saved it. In my travels through Kaziranga, I heard the story of the rhino.
50 years ago, there were only 400 rhinos. But now, there are more than 2,400.
India showed me what can happen if you don't give up. And if the Indian rhino can make a comeback, so can my bookstore.
Incredible India.
At the current rate, 237. Average first innings score, 269. 6 and over gets 276 from here. In order to get that partnerships, somebody get in. Highest scores, very high.
Yeah, not surprised by this move. Adam Zampa changing ends. Comes in from the Nederburg end. Australia had the luxury of bowling Darcy short for 3 overs. Third over going for 13 runs. So Australia will feel that's a luxury for them. They don't possibly need him to bowl. They want their strike bowlers back. Bringing back Barry. Mitchell Stark from the Swartland end. Adam Zampa to continue.
Oh, that's very good.
Often in a new player, you're just trying to see his organization in the way that he goes about trying to accumulate his runs. And thus far for Rayner, tested with some short stuff. Seems composed, seems organized. More of his technique, no doubt, is going to be tested. Yeah, it looks all right.
Come on, Zorba. Come on, Zorba. Come on, boy.
Not that it's ever how you look. Just one.
Nice, Barry.
Well, there's a saying that goes, it's all about first impressions. And it's certainly been a good one here from Carl Verreynne. As mentioned, he's dominated at the domestic level the past 2 seasons. Certainly earned his call-up.
Get it.
Shot. Some width. Full as well. And is able to drive through the offside. Another couple of runs to Kyle Verreynne. And yes, I did find out how you say it. I've been instructed. His name is Verreynne.
Come on, Zam. Come on, boys.
And no, I'm not going to talk about Marnus. Another couple. Good partnership. It's gone to 49. It's 97 for 3, South Africa. Yeah, some short stuff when he came in. Happy to duck under, drop the hands. Wanted to go for the short ball then. Yeah, helps on a pitch that's not particularly quick, but all you can do is play what's in front of you, and thus far Verena look pretty good. Your first impressions? Trying again.
Well, I've played with him, I've captained him, so it can't be a first impression for me.
Fair enough. First impressions at the highest level.